Hello and welcome back to Apple Tree Allotment. Down here on Friday morning this week. Bit better weather today than the weekend, I think. So I've got a few things to do. I've been down here a few times this week, 3 or 4 times this week, while I've had a bit of time. I collected more soil improver, so I went 3 times to get soil improver, and I've put 2 lots along this back bed, so I've covered up all the manure and homemade compost. So that bed's pretty much ready for sweet corn now and pumpkins. If I get time, I could put a little bit more on the back maybe, but it's pretty much there, I think. So that was good. And then I went one more time and filled up the potato beds just a little bit around where they're starting to come up. I put a little bit on some of these beds at the back here, and I'll do that again as they grow up. As the shoots come out of the soil, I'll top them up again, just to keep them away from any frosts or anything, and make sure they don't go, potatoes don't go green. They've got plenty of room to fill up a bit more. It's surprising how much compost you need to fill up a bed. So there's plenty of room. I also did at the start of the week put this, I mowed the lawn Monday, Tuesday I think, and I just covered up this first early bed. And I think these 2 are both our first earlies. The one on the left is doing much better. And I'm not sure if it's because I covered that with the grass clippings straight away when I planted them, so it might have been a bit warmer, or it might be, they may be just different soils or something like that, but that's my guess. The ones on this side are doing quite well. I've covered them up a couple of times, but there's quite a few coming up now, and they are coming up underneath the grass clippings on this side. So they're getting there. So today I've got a few jobs to do. The other thing I did yesterday was go and get a load of bark chips. So there's a local country park that has a huge bin where they put any that they don't need that you can take. So I went up there yesterday and filled up my boxes. It's where I got all the bark chips for these paths from. And it's not quite as good this time. It's a bit more, looks like they've been cutting pine trees, so there's a few pine needles and conifers. But it's okay, it's free, so I mustn't grumble. So I'm going to do these paths in the last beds I made. So there's one along the back there, back part over there, and then these 3. And I should have some left, hopefully. So I might put some over the back corner just to keep the weeds down over there. And then other than that, I might top up, if I've got any left, I'll top up the paths over this side. I did those at least a year ago. So yeah, it'd benefit, especially this bit here. You can see the plastic sort of showing through. Sort of redo this bit. But yeah, most of it looks pretty good, but sort of need to top it up occasionally. So I'm going to do that first, get the bark chips down. And the other thing I brought down was some things to plant and sow. I've got some peas, so I just sowed these in this container quite a few weeks ago now, but they look really happy in here. And they're a good length, sort of 15-20 centimetre high. So I went to B&Q and got some canes. So I'm going to put those out over in plot 2 and get those going. And then the other thing I was going to do is sow some seeds. So I've got some leeks. I was going to plant, we've got a bed of leeks from last year, and I was just going to sort of plant in between those rows just to get some going for next year. the ones that are there are doing quite well now, so hopefully we'll get some out of that. I brought some lettuce down. I've got some going at home, but I thought I'd bring a different pack down here, and I might plant these at the end of the pea bed if I get a chance, or if not, I'll find somewhere else to squeeze them in. I've got some spring onions, and I might put those, a row of those, in the leek bed if I've got space. I brought some carrots down. We've got a bed with, I think, 2 or 3 rows in of carrots, so I'm going to do another couple of rows. I'm trying to do a couple of rows every week or two, just to sort of stagger them a little bit, and use different varieties so we get different shapes and sizes and flavours. So I'll do a couple of rows of those. I don't know if I'll get to these, but I saw them when I was picking up my seeds, so I thought I'd pick them up. I'm not sure where I'd put them yet, but I'll have a look. There's some kale and some cauliflower. I'm probably going to do a bed where I just do sort of a row of each brassica, so some kale, cauliflower, maybe broccoli. Yeah, we'll see. They're sort of, if I get time and if I can find somewhere to put them, but I'll try and get these ones done today. And in the soil, at least get a little bit in, get going. I'm trying to be better at doing more successional sowing this year, so we get some more throughout the year and into next year in the leeks and things. So that's today's jobs. It's quite a lot to do, but I've got a couple of hours spare. And then other than that, I might just go round. There's a couple of little bits of grass I need to sort out. I'll see if I can find a mower just to go down. There's a communal mower in one of the sheds. So I'll see if I can get that going and just mow this strip here, get these edges sorted out, keep on top of that, and probably do a bit of watering. It's very grey and overcast today, but I don't think there's any rain forecast for the foreseeable future. And the soil's sort of damp underneath, but not massively. I think the potatoes definitely could do with a bit of water. They look quite dry. So yeah, so that's my jobs for today. I'll get on with these bark chips first, I think. I've got all the bark chips spread out, so I managed to do, out of those 5 boxes and a bit of a bag, I managed to get the paths along here done, and the three along there. I like to do it quite thick, so it's a good path when it does get rainy and muddy. So I think that's all of the paths and everything covered now, although at some point I'll go and get some more. I'll perhaps leave it a little while because I didn't have that much. Leave it a few weeks and then I'll see if they've got some better bark chips up there. I'll try and feel. I'd like to put a bit more down this main path. It's a bit low there, and cover up some of the older bits. But at least that gets it looking a lot better for now, and keeps it nice and dry if it does rain. So that's our first job done. I've been going around doing a little bit of weeding as we go. There's a few bits of grass growing up around some of these older beds. So I've just been pulling out some of those. I'll keep doing that as I potter around. But I think the next thing to do is get the peas in. So I'll take them over. They're going to go over next to the Charlotte potatoes. So this bed did have beetroot in it, and it had a little bit of chard in it. So I'll just pull those up and just clean the bed up, although it does look pretty good actually. Yeah, so I'm going to get some peas in there, and I might try and get a row of lettuce in one end. I've cleared the pea bed out, and I've just sort of loosened the top just a couple of centimetres of soil, just to it was quite compacted, but I've left the rest of the bed alone. I've got 20 canes and I found a longer one to go across the top. So I'm going to do 10 each side, and I've got my peas ready. Hopefully there's 20 in there. They should be, hopefully. Yeah, so I'm just going to space these out each side and set that up. I've got some baling twine that came on the bags I got manure in, all had this twine on, so I saved that. So I'll reuse that, recycle that. Got all my canes up and tied together. It's nice and solid, so I'm quite happy with that. Just going to go and plant out all the peas along them now. So I've got 20 to plant. At some point, if I can find some longer string, I might go along and just put some bits across, just to give the peas something to grab onto. But yeah, I'll see how they get on. There's all the peas in next to their canes. I have to say it looks very, very nice having them in. Need to water them in, but I'll do that when I do the rest of the plot. I do think I might put some of the green, I've got this green fencing that I put around the chard. I've got some more of that. I might just put a loop around that bed for a few weeks, just to let them get growing. There's a few pheasants that come round. There was one I disturbed when I came in today, and rabbits as well, although the rabbits don't seem to have done anything for a few weeks, but they're around still. So yeah, I might see if I can do that. Sadly this bed hasn't got any of the uprights on it, but at least if it's just sort of tucked around it, it should at least put them off a bit, I think. Yeah, so I'm gonna have a go at that. I had a look on the sort of community wood pile, and I managed to find these poles that I've cut down to size. I think they were used last year to have sweet peas up them in a big pyramid over the other side in the orchard. So yeah, there's loads of those in the pile. So I've just cut a couple of those to the right height, and they'll act as some corner posts. And I've got our green netting out. I'll try and cut that down to the right size. So hopefully that'll protect the peas for a little while. That's the fence around my peas. That's gone up okay. I've just cable tied it to the poles. Hopefully that'll keep the birds and things out. So next up, I'm going to sow, I think I'm going to do sort of 3 lines of leeks, and I might just fill in the gaps in between. There's a few gaps in the middle here where we've harvested some and they haven't grown. So yeah, I might just fill in the gaps there. I've sown 3 rows of these Autumn Mammoth 2, or Snow Star. So they can be sown outside March and April. So hopefully by the end of the year, October, November, we might get some more leeks. So I just did the 3 rows in between the current rows. We'll see how they do. These, in theory, these ones in here now should be sort of finished now, but I think they must have got a late start. They certainly got nibbled a bit by rabbits or something else. They still look happy, so I'm going to leave them in for now, and if they get big enough, we'll harvest them and have them in some soup or something. Next up, I'm going to do a couple of rows of carrots. I've got these were from Gardener's World magazine that my mum gave me. These are Nantes 5, so it should be early variety. So I'm going to do a couple of rows of these in the carrot bed. I've already got a couple of rows of another sort of carrot coming up, so they'll need thinning soon. Perhaps just let them get a little bit bigger before I thin them out. Yeah, so I'm going to do another couple of rows, and then another couple of weeks we'll do another 2 or 3 rows in this bed, and then that'll probably be full. But yeah, looking good. So back over on plot 1, I'm thinking I've got some spring onions and lettuce that I want to sow. I've got these three beds here that are going to have different types of squash in. So I've got some sort of normal green and yellow squash, courgettes. I've also got some round squash, some ball squash, some Lebanese squash, and some patty pan squashes, yellow and green ones. So I was going to put a couple in each of these beds, maybe three actually. Maybe three in these two bigger ones and two in the end one. A sort of mix of varieties. But obviously they're not going to go out for probably a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks. Still quite cold at night. And they still take another few weeks after that to get quite to their sort of big full size. So what I'm thinking is I might use this space while we're waiting for that to plant some lettuce and spring onions just along. I might do it just along the edge here, just in the space that we don't need until then, and I'll just use these as small, whatever size they are, when the plant needs the space, when the squash needs the space. I'll just use them then. Seems a shame to have all this sort of bed space free and not use it. So I'm going to do a row, probably in this first one. I'm going to do a row along the end of spring onions and lettuce, and yeah, we'll see how that gets on. I've just made two rows at the end of the bed and put some canes in to mark them. I've got this white Lisbon spring onions. I think I sowed these last year. So yeah, plant them out March to July. So I'll get a row in now, and then maybe another row another week. And then the lettuce I've got is from the Gardener's World magazine again, and it's just a salad bulb mix. So it's a mix of all sorts of lettuce, but that can go out now until August. So yeah, I'll get a row in that, and again I'll sow some more somewhere else another week, so we've got some throughout the summer. Well, I think that's all my jobs done for this week down the allotment, apart from giving it a good water. So I'm going to do that now, just go around and water everything. I think these beds, particularly up here, are very dry. So yeah, I'm going to give it a good water. It's sort of dark clouds and threatening to rain, but I don't think it's going to be enough to really keep the soil wet or moist. Yeah, so I'm going to get that done, and then we'll go home for some lunch. Really glad I got all the bark chips down. They look really good. Just tidies up the rest of the plot, and makes it look good. Makes it easier for getting in there for sowing as well. So I did that. Got carrots, lettuce, leeks, peas, all in. So hopefully we'll get a good crop of them. The plot 2 is basically full now, full of potatoes. Got potatoes, peas, leeks, carrots, chard. Still got that chard in. I really need to harvest some of that because it's going to go to seed or flower soon. So I might harvest some of that and take it home, and think what we can do with it for dinner tonight. Yeah, so plot 2 is pretty much full, I think. Plot 1 over this side, the raspberries are doing really well, putting on a lot of growth very quickly, which is great to see. Strawberries are bulking up. Garlic, I'm so really pleased with the garlic this year. It's done really well. And the onions, I had a little look at a couple of them under the soil, and they're actually doing quite well. They're bulbing up quite nicely. So although they haven't got a huge amount of foliage at the top, I think they're going to do okay. We'll get something out of it. The peas in the kids' bed are doing well. There's 3 rows in there I can see coming up. So we'll get them down here. I'll perhaps bring them down over the weekend, and they can sow something else in this bed, see what they want to sow. But yeah, they've definitely got some nice peas to snack on coming up there. Yeah, everything else is sort of prepped, ready to go. I think it's going to be another couple of weeks before I can get the sweet corn and squashes and pumpkins in. waiting for the nighttime temperatures to come up a little bit, really. Yeah, but all looking good. All pretty much prepped now. So I hope you enjoyed having a look at the plot this week, seeing what's going on, and hope you're going to enjoy the bank holiday weekend if you're in the UK. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to talking to you next week.